Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very accomplished professional from Sydney, Australia, Katrena Friel. Katrena, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Lovely to be here.
Thank you. Katrena is a keynote speaker, an author, a mentor, and a personal branding expert, and she's also a coach. So, Katrena, before we talk about coaching and branding, tell me about your own journey in brief and how did you cope with two burnouts before you were 25?
Well, I think the problem with having a really good work ethic is that there is that chance that you could burn out. The beauty of it was that I did it early, really early. So before I was 25, I had these two burnouts and I suddenly realized that I must have had a tendency for this sort of thing to be happening. And I knew that if I carried on the way I was going, I would be dead by 40 or at least have had a heart attack. And that was the statistic for women that was coming through, was that women were starting to have heart attacks, not just men anymore, for stress and overwork. So I decided just to sort it out really early, and I've never really been close again. But I did notice that during COVID, I was overcompensating and I was working really hard, very long hours, internationally, global time zones. And I started to realize, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. And I started to relax and just enjoy COVID as a time to be with family and a time to rest and not work that hard. I didn't need to overcompensate and just to relax.
Well said. So let me talk now about coaching and mentoring first.
Yes.
You have focused yourself on corporate executives transitioning to their own businesses.
Yeah.
Tell me what inspired you to become a coach and focus on this segment?
So I used to, and I still do, work in corporate training. So my specialty is doing a really intensive 2-day leadership management masterclass. And then usually they would have me carry on and work with the executives in an executive coaching role. And so whenever I was doing that for the last 25 years, there was always one or two people that would sneak up after me and sort of say, oh, I'd love to do what you do. And I started to realize years and years ago, over 20 years ago, that I wonder how I do it. And I started to have reverse engineered what I was doing and how I was doing it and why I was being successful, and started to create a program which still exists today. It's just been evolving over a long period of time. So now it's like a beautiful, rich sauce. It's not a soup. It's a very specific sauce. So it's been really refined over the years. And now it is a one-on-one startup program, completely bespoke. And now when I meet those people that want to do what I do, I can put them into that program and help them. Yeah.
Very interesting. And what, in your view, are some of the common challenges new entrepreneurs face? And how do you help them to overcome these?
So the first thing is confidence. So people feel, because they don't know what they don't know, and they sort of see people around them struggling, and so they sort of get lack a lot of confidence. And what I try to do in my program is say to them, look, it's a process, trust the process, jump on the railway tracks with me, and we're only going to deal with each station as we get there. So don't try and jump ahead, don't try and second guess it, don't try to overthink it. Let's just do the one task that we're doing at the moment, and everything will be revealed. And when they relax into the process, they start to trust it more and more and go, I see why we do this now and not then. I get it. Because building a business is like building a house. You have to, there's a step-by-step process to it. And if you miss a step or don't understand a step, then, it's all a big mess. And most people who try to do it by themselves end up spending more money, wasting a lot of time and doing it all wrong, and it fails. House cards.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
And, when I was reading about you to prepare for my conversation today, I came across this interesting term, done for you.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, how does the done for you format uniquely position new entrepreneurs for success in today's market?
So the reason I do it for you is because what I found in the early iterations back in the day when I was first starting, I was working in groups. So I would bring everybody in. It was a cheaper program. I would just train them and do a bit of coaching, and then left it for them to go and build it. And when I turned around and they hadn't built it, there was no book, there was no website, there was no signature program, nothing was happening. I realized then that they really couldn't do what I did and I really needed to do it for them. So that what I do now is in 90 days, I build all the assets, and then we spend the rest of the year in the 12-month program actually doing it so that they're equipped to go out there and do it. So I just can't bank on them to get it done. So I do it for them now, and it works much, much better, much, much better.
Amazing, amazing.
Hard on me. It's about 180 hours worth of work that I have to do for each person.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it for people, then it is a lot of work that you have to do. And of course, there's a lot of research that goes on to do anything for anyone. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
My next question, Katrena, is that what role does emotional intelligence play in the success of a new entrepreneur, and how do you cultivate it?
So I'm a massive fan of emotional intelligence. I've been training in emotional intelligence for over sort of 25, 30 years now. It's in every leadership management program around the world, no matter what program you do, but I have it in mine as well. So let's just break it down for people. At first, it's two things. It's know thyself and know your impact on others. But then when you drill down a little bit to that next level, it's 5 things. It's self-awareness. And if you don't have self-awareness, you're not going to succeed in business. Then there is sort of motivation. So a bit of get up and go, make it happen energy. I think entrepreneurs need to have that, otherwise they wouldn't be successful. And then there's empathy, and a lot of entrepreneurs might be able to work one-on-one with themselves, but they're terrible when they start to bring on teams because they just don't have that empathy for others. They're always me.coms. Right. So we want them to really check in with their empathy. And the other one is social skills. And social skills, I think, is really great when you're building a business, because you've got to be able to go out into the world, connect with others, connect them with your message, and you've got to be able to mix in different circles and different people from all different walks of life. That's what being in business is all about. And if you can't do that, you won't be successful. And I haven't had enough coffee today, so I'm forgetting the 5th one. I'm trying to visualize it. But anyway, there are 5 things. So just Google it. And I mean, you know it, but your listeners can Google it.
Fantastic. Thank you. The other thing that I was fascinated with when I was reading about you was that you talk about creating 7 streams of income.
Yeah.
Most people struggle to create 2. Help me understand the importance of creating 7 streams of income, and how do you guide your clients to achieve this?
So my model is set up for 7 streams of income. And so let's go through what they are. One is author. One is speaking. One is training, coaching, mentor, facilitator, and consulting. Okay. So the way my model works is the book is your philosophy. It positions you as the expert. There's not a lot of money there, though. It's really more a positioning tool, but you've got to get money in to buy more books, so books become free after the first print run. Speaking, there's 2 strategies within speaking. One is the non-paid and one is the paid. Now, you can build a whole business just on paid, and not take it any further. But I believe there's way more money in speaking for free so that you can sell in your signature training program, which could be what I build for my clients is a $10,000 program up to a $20,000 program. So we want to sell that more than we want to sell a $5,000 keynote. But you can still sell a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 keynote, whatever's going. In America, if you're not earning $25,000 per keynote, you're nobody. They consider you not to be an expert. So if you're going to go into the American market, you are 25,000. And then with coaching, to me, coaching's inside of your training program. So part of that money that you get for your signature program is included in your coaching and your mentoring, but you can sell that separately if you wanted to. Facilitating to me is training is where you come at it from an agenda point of view. You know what you're training, you're going in there to train it. Facilitating is more advanced type of training with a more advanced type of audience. So what you do there is your training program might be year one and your facilitating opportunity could be something that you do in year two. And then consulting, other people in the industry want your model, so they pay you to install it and come in and look at their business. So to me, it's not hard to have those 7 income streams. It's just I set them up with them in the first place and then let the market see which one's going to take off and be really easy to sell. Normally, it's the training at that level 1. Yeah.
What a great response. I need to now go back and think about how many streams of income I have. But
yeah, don't leave money on the table. I don't like leaving money on the table.
But moving on, Katrena, you also have a Becoming the Expert program, which you customize to fit the individual needs of your clients.
Yes.
Tell me a little more.
So we've been talking about it pretty much the whole time. So it's the 7 streams of income. It's their personal brand business that I create. But what's bespoke and customized about it is they are becoming the expert in their field of excellence.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what they come to me with. Sometimes they come to me with nothing. And I don't know why, but my genius zone is spending 15 minutes with somebody. I have a little poke about and I discover what their purpose is, their mission. And I'm able to show them that they've got a business inside of them. And I love doing that. It's just makes me so happy. So people say, oh, I don't want to waste your time. I don't have an idea. I'm like, good. I love that you don't have an idea that you're wedded to yet, because sometimes I don't want people to be too rigid in their ideas, because those that come to me with an idea, quite often the idea is not well formed, right, and it's not something that I feel will take. And so I ask them, can we just have a little look at something else? And then I'll play around and show them, actually, it's this, not that. And they're like, mind blown. That's the aim. I want to blow your mind.
Well said. So let's now talk about the other aspect of inputs that you give to a lot of your clients, which is personal branding. And I know personal branding in the last few years seems to have become very important for every single individual.
100%.
And my first question is, what are the first steps in developing a strong personal brand for entrepreneurs?
So there's 2 conversations we can have here. One for the intrapreneur, which are the ones that are entrepreneurs inside organizations. And there's a whole bunch of stuff we can do with them to make sure that they are a thought leader within their expertise. They are the experts, seen as the authority, seen as the go-to. And a lot of that is the way your emotional intelligence sits within you, the way you're presenting yourself, the way you're communicating, your leadership skills, and whether people are really connecting with you or want to run away from you when they see you in the hallway. So that's a whole conversation I love having with executives. The other ones is my favorite, which is the entrepreneurs. And the entrepreneurs, my belief is, even if they had a product or service business, they should have my program, the personal brand business, inside that with the 7 streams of income, because it's fabulous for sales and marketing for their other business. So each leader should always have their own personal brand business running in the background, and they should always be an author, speaker, trainer, coach, mentor, facilitator, and consultant. They are essentially an educator for their product and service, their expertise. And so you package that up. But most people are not positioned correctly, they're not packaged up correctly, and they're certainly not priced correctly as their expert in their field of excellence.
Interesting. And, I've spoken to many people, and when you talk of personal brand, the first comment is personal brand, who, me, kind of thing,
Yeah.
So my question is, what, based on the work that you have done, Katrena, what are some common mistakes you have seen people do when it comes to building their personal brand?
The main one is that they, extroverts, go out there and sing from the highest mountain, have no issue with being seen and being heard. It's the introverts that actually have the wisdom to share, but they don't. So my clients are often introverts, and I have to bring them over into being a multivert. So introverts come with a specific set of challenges and problems where they don't speak up, they don't speak out, they don't think what they say is important or what they think is important, and that's absolute baloney. It's the extroverts that often haven't got well thought ideas. They're very good at speaking from the cuff and speaking from the hip, and they just go for it. Whereas it's the introverts with the deeper wisdom that I want to give them confidence. I want to give them permission. I want them to start expressing because they're amazing. And I slam my hand down on the table really loudly and I yell, "How dare you rob us of your brilliance and your genius? How dare you?" And quite often that shocks them enough to start, every time they don't speak moving forward, they hear me in their head slamming their hand down. And they start to go, "Oh, I've got to lean in. I've got to become involved. I've got to speak up." And you've got to, you've got a personal brand. Everyone does. It's just whether it's a good one.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
And what, in your view, is the role of networking when you're building one's personal brand?
Well, you are always networking. You are never not. So networking is one of those things that I do all the time, but it's so innate, it's so natural, it's so organic that I can be talking to somebody at the airport that I've never met in my life, and within 5 seconds I can see an opportunity jumping out. That's just the way I'm programmed. I think my dad was really good like that. He had very good social skills. I could see him as a child talking to people in the supermarket when we were standing in line. And I think I got that same gift where I could just, talk to people and just reach out at whatever level they're at. Right. And now that I'm a speaker, I come off stage and everyone wants to network with me. And that's wonderful. It just makes it easy and organic, and it happens. I've just been away speaking for 3 days at an event, and I've come home with all these connections that all want to have a meeting. So that was a really good networking opportunity. Now I have to sweep up and find my projects and find, is there any value in any of them working with me, and vice versa. But doesn't matter. I've got beautiful friends, beautiful connections, people that will directly recommend me and indirectly recommend me. So it doesn't really matter. It's a win-win all the time, 24/7. Right. As long as people are talking about you and you've educated them in the way you want people to talk about you, and it's a good first impression, then you're set. Just allow them to express themselves in their own way, and the rest happens, and leave it up to the universe.
Amazing. Well said. So time for 2 more questions for you. Yeah. My next question is, how important is storytelling in personal branding, and how can someone craft a compelling narrative?
Yeah, well, we start usually with their story. So I like to see what's happened to them as a child. There's lots of clues in that. And then there's, your upbringing and what's happened to you. And where the real medicine is and where the real genius zone is the trauma. The trauma has the story, has the medicine, has what you will be teaching in the future. So any challenges you've had is a story. Every experience you have is a story. The thing with being a trainer or a speaker is that you consciously now collect your stories, because you can just pull a story from wherever, depending on what the question is or what you're talking about, and you become just a storyteller about everything, and you make money out of it. It's an incredible skill to have. But with every story, there needs to be an arc. So I like the hero's journey. I think the hero's journey makes thinking about storytelling a lot easier because there's a process to it.
Well said. And my last question to you, Katrena, what is your advice for someone struggling to differentiate their personal brand in a very, very crowded and saturated market?
Well, it's interesting that you would say that, because the only thing that's unique about anyone is themselves. And that's why personal branding is so important. So if I'm a leadership trainer, well, there's 50,000 leadership trainers around the world, but there are only one of me. And so it's me that they're buying. It's my philosophy that they're buying. And it's my unique spin on the topic that's uniquely mine, because my stories, my, you know, what comes into it is uniquely mine. So I never worry. There's no such thing as competition to me, because there is only me. I'm only competing with myself.
Right.
And so, just step into yourself, trust that you are unique, and enjoy the journey of discovering what you're capable of and what your pure potential is. What is the destiny of this experience here on earth for this one moment in time? It's an amazing opportunity. There will never be a Katrena Friel ever in the history of the world ever again once I'm gone. That's it.
Well said. Well said. And on that note, Katrena, and your amazing last comment, you are unique. There is only one person like you. Thank you so much for speaking to me about your own journey. Thank you for speaking to me about so many different aspects of coaching, mentoring. I love the way you have created these amazing little products done for you, becoming the expert program, the 7 streams of income. They're so catchy and so easy to remember. Thank you also for speaking to me at such length about personal branding and the importance personal branding plays for each one of us. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.